Hey folks, long time no see. Shonen Jack back again for episode 6 of season 2 of My Hero Academia. Uh, Griefing me on Twitter does work, because this is an episode coming to you by popular request a day late. So, if I'm ever behind like this, if you grief me on Twitter, it will work, and I will get off my ass. And I encourage you to do so. But a couple of things before we get started here. Just some things I wanted to talk about and cover. Number one being, I got this in the mail the other day, which I'm excited to crack into. Looks like it's got some of the inside the episodes bonus features that were on the website before now, and some of the footage from anime conventions, which should be interesting. So, looking forward to that. Looking forward to that nice Blu-ray quality and not the TV material. A couple other things we had. Speaking of the inside the episode extras, I would definitely recommend checking those out, because for season 2 they've been upping their game a little bit, and it's been kind of interesting. They're using that space to promote some charities and ways that people can be everyday heroes, which I think is a nice notion, and definitely in tune with My Hero Academia. But if that's not your bag, they're also mixing things in to make it worth your while to check out regardless. Like some outtakes from the cast and some interviews. I wonder if I can sneak in a little piece of that right about here.
Well, look who it is. My favorite flamer, Endeavor.
But I definitely recommend getting the subscription or the trial and seeing these for yourself. We've also had some updates to the voice cast since we last spoke, and I'm just going to pull that up and read that off. First up, Present Mike, which we knew Sunny Straight had to tag out because of laryngitis, so that's a very serious thing for voice actors, because that's their main asset, so he's got to rest that, and he's not going to strain it as much as possible. Probably for the rest of this season, we're going to have Dave Trosco. Dave Trosco, you might have heard him before in, say, Seraph of the End as Gurren, Hitalia as Spain, or Georgie in Yuri on Ice. He's doing a fine job, and that now means that both commentators, President Mike and Eraserhead, have been fill-ins. Another fill-in we have is Recovery Girl, who in season 1 was voiced by Julie Erickson, is now being played by Lucy Christian, doing her old lady voice. Julie Erickson, I guess, is living further away and couldn't do the broadcast dub schedule like the situation with Eraserhead, which happens, and now that means Lucy Christian is pulling double duty. Who else do we have? Some of the other students we have now are Kendo, who's the ponytail girl, and I've seen her around a bit, on the banner of the My Hero subreddit, with her tongue sticking out, so I have high hopes for her. But that's Jade Saxton. She's a lovely voice actress, so that's fine. Ibarra, which was the plant hair girl, is Bryn April. And I like her as an actress, but she's had, 2 lines so far? Austin Tindo, who's we've already had and talked about a bunch, but that's Monoma is the name of that character. And maybe I remember that. I will probably... I've already forgotten. Sorry. Hiryu, which I looked up, is Anthony Bowling, and that's not a character that's had much to do at all lately. It's the kid with the braided ponytail from Class B. Lastly, and most interestingly, is Endeavor is played by Patrick Seitz. And this is interesting because we had... there was a lot of discussion before the dub came out for season 1 of who are they going to cast and what people's predictions were. And one of the ideas that had a lot of support behind it was Patrick Seitz as All Might. And as you know, that didn't happen. We got Chris Sabat as All Might instead, and some people took issue with this because they had gotten their hopes up for Patrick Seitz, and saying things like, oh, Chris Sabat's been in everything, and this could be a real good lead role for someone new, because the My Hero IP is so hot that this could be a real star maker. And it kind of has been for some of the people like Justin Briner as Deku. But, you could do more. You could take more chances with this, and it's just a very safe casting choice to have Sabat play All Might. And Sabat does a good job with All Might, and has been. Like, he does the big booming hero voice, and that's all fine and good. And he's really good at the low, natural speaking voice of the Toshinori part of him. And it's a fine voice, and it's just kind of interesting now that we have Patrick Seitz as Endeavor, who's always kind of, my understanding is, second best to All Might. So we have that little bit of this meta narrative going on. Complete fabrication of, like, the fan base, and any animosity is only on their part. Seitz and Sabat, they're great people. They're fellow voice actors. I'm sure they have no problems with each other. It's just one of those neat quirks of the universe, which I find kind of neat. It's fine. The last thing I want to mention is this is episode 6 of Season 2, which, from the announcement for the simuldub, is the last episode that we're going to get day and date with the subtitled version. Like, we've had 6 weeks now of the sub-anime comes out, and then 30 minutes later, before I even wake up and can tell the difference, the dub version is also out. That's as far as they guaranteed, so we don't know if there's going to be a dub episode next week. My assumption is that they only said 6 episodes because that's as far as they could guarantee, because anime production schedules are very hectic and anything could happen, and Bones could easily fall behind, but they're a studio that's been well established for a long time, and they probably have all their shit together, and if they can get the materials to Texas on time, then we get the episodes on time and everything continues as normal. But, like, this has happened in the past where, just last season for Akiba Strip, they had Gonzo sending them materials, and that lasted 2 weeks at that same day rate. So I'm kind of hoping for the best, but expecting the worst. I don't know. And I don't know what I'm going to do with the live reactions if we don't get a dub episode next week. I'll probably just watch the sub, but I've kind of been all in on the dub since Season 2 began. So, I'll have to adjust, and maybe I'll just watch through Season 2 subtitled in the meantime. But enough talk, let's get into the episode itself. Last we left off, we had All Might and Endeavor having a face-off verbally, and the same situation for Deku and Todoroki, just kind of drawing parallels there. I kind of suspect that Todoroki's going to tell Deku about his home situation, but I don't know what All Might and Endeavor are going to talk about. Still probably Todoroki in that situation, and their history together. This is going to be a backstory episode, I think is what's going to happen. I've just realized that we're not going to get the Kirishima Tetsu Metapod Harden off. That saddens me. I think that may have been the one I was looking forward to most. And we're going to get a lot of individual fights of, like, characters that don't seem like they would be great one-on-one, like Sero or Mei Hatsume. Like, I hope they get the chance to show their stuff, but they've kind of, like, done their part in a supporting role. And how are they going to do in the open? Like, there's only one team of people that, from Class B that got in, as I recall. We got some people that aren't just our main cast. Oh, God. Deku's tears cratered him into the ground, I just noticed, from that geyser upwards. That's... he just keeps upping the ante. That's a very nice shot of Todoroki half in shadow. Yeah, Todoroki's got a kind of... he's a very different feel from Bakugo and his antagonism. Todoroki's getting closer to the truth. I mean, that is the logical conclusion. I mean, it makes sense, because as far as we know, quirks are hereditary, and no one knows that All Might can transfer his quirk from one person to another, and drawing as many parallels between the pro heroes and the students here. Well, these two, how's this conversation going to go? Well, if All Might's got a power up, might as well be theatric. This also means that Endeavor Toshinori hasn't entrusted him with his secret, so he wouldn't power down in front of Endeavor. That's interesting. It makes sense. Yeah. Oh, they're going to talk about being mentors. What's going on in All Might's head? It's very intense eyes there. Yeah, so Endeavor thinks of Todoroki as like his creation. So a bit like a helicopter parent, just slightly. I don't know if that's the right word for that. Endeavor doesn't just want to be number one hero or Todoroki to be number one hero. He wants to do it by taking down All Might. Not just an arranged marriage or a loveless marriage, but one just for the offspring. Wow. Endeavor sought out this person that would be a good match for him, but the mom didn't even have a say in this. And it has tones of like selective breeding. And when you get into that, you're just treating people like horses or purebred dogs. That's cold, Endeavor. Ooh. So he got his Prince Zuko star from his mother, which is a bit different from that story. And so the mother's not like some saint in all of this either. She was innocent and then broken down and traumatized and took it out on her kid because the kid reminded her of his dad. So, hey Bakugo, what are you doing here? What does Bakugo think of all that? So Todoroki is still aiming for the top for his own reasons. It's still kind of what his dad wants him to do, but he still wants to be the number one hero. But not necessarily to best All Might, but to best Endeavor. And he sees Deku as an obstacle to this. He doesn't necessarily have a grudge against Deku, but if Deku has a connection to All Might, that means that it's on the way to surpassing All Might himself, if Todoroki can surpass Deku. And especially if he does it with just his ice half. Yeah, so if he does it without using any of Endeavor's power, then he shows him up by saying, like, I don't need you, and you and Endeavor had nothing to do with this. So it's all Todoroki's own power, and none of Endeavor's. This is a different kind of edgy than Tokoyami's Dark Shadow. Right, Deku? How cliched. Hero with a tragic backstory and dark past. Oh, man. Oh, that bit got me, even if it was just a bit of flashback montaging. Different kinds of heroes. So that's different kinds of heroes, but neither is a less valid way of going about it. They're coming from different places. Todoroki has his dark past, and that made him very driven and focused and one-minded on his goal. And Deku came from a place of, like, he's always had other people to support him, even if it was just, like, one person at a time, which I like. And Deku's very right that he absolutely only got here on the shoulders of others. Literally, in some senses. Nice. Nice. Just... Mineta, what did you do, and why are you my hero? Of course. And you did a very nice job, Momo. I'm so proud of you, Mineta. Yeah. Well, Toru can stand out this way, so it's all good for her. There was some Class B and A crossover in one of those teams. So there's actually only like 2 kids from Class B in this top 16. Oh, it's a joke before about his power being to use other people, but I didn't mean that literally. So, but man, Ojiro's a pretty cool guy, actually, but he has his pride, and he let himself be used like that, and he can't let that slide. Hey, he's got to keep his moral upstanding because of the cheerleaders, but also, like, he can't... His chance to show his stuff and participate has been taken from him, basically. Purple-haired dude is a dick. Oh, Kirishima's manly tears. Oh, and Naval Laser has no such scruples. Well, Midnight's all for it, even if it came across in a weird way. Yeah, all the more reason for the side events to have some focus, have some screen time. I want to see these guys do their thing, and they aren't getting their chance. And they're getting robbed of their chance. 5th place team. Oh, Tetsu also has the manly tears. Oh, good. So we are getting more of these characters that I wanted to get more of, like Tetsu. So we can have that Kirishima off. Yes! Yes! It's going to happen. Okay. Oh, his one weakness, no time to rest. And Todoroki's against Sero. I don't like Sero's chances. Alright, so this guy's motivated to win. He might do some underhanded tactics. Did Ojiro catch on to Shinzo's weakness? They're 2 main characters. I knew Uraraka was going to fight Bakugo, and I am psyched for that matchup. Like, holy shit. And also Ida and Mei, who I guess are the most mechanically inclined. Ida's basically a machine. Yay! Such big, powerful hands. So there's some fun to be had. Oh, it's a good thing they have a quirk that can build stadiums and arenas, which means they can break them as much as they want. And the first time they've been speaking since episode 1. Alright. Trust me, there's... Got him. Got the fly. And All Might's here to just snap Deku out of his nerves. And Deku in round 1. Okay. I'm sure Shinzu is not afraid to play dirty at all. So if his power is to control people, then all he has to do is control Deku and make him say, I give up. This is going to be a battle of wits, for sure. And battle of wills. And Deku has both of those things in spades. Generally. Oh, flash. Something happened. Ooh. Deku, you were warned. But of course, Shinzo's going to use underhanded tactics and provoke his opponent like that. Didn't work for Austin Tyndall, but it definitely worked for him. Jeez. Okay. Let's breathe for a moment. Deku was already warned about the trigger for Shinzo's quirk, and he fell into the trap anyway, so just wanted to do the preview on this. There's really only one way that this competition can end, but we may have some clashing of ideals in the next episode, where Shinzo will do anything to get what he wants, and he doesn't have time to worry about, like, if it makes him look bad, or if it gives him a bad reputation, or seems underhanded. And Deku, he's a bit righteous. Like, not quite Bushido level of Ojiro righteous, but he won't take the indignation sitting down, because he's just going to walk out of the ring. He's going to get close. We'll have to see what it takes to break the control. As far as some of the other matchups are going, like, yeah, I'm pretty in favor of all of these matchups. Some of them seem like very clear cut as to who's going to win, like Sarah versus Todoroki. Yeah. But again, I'm very excited for Ochiko versus Bakugo, because I like both of those characters, and I want them both to succeed. And Ochiko is very, very motivated and driven, more so than she's ever shown to be before. So, like, that's probably where I'm going to root, and where I am going to back the wrong person again. But that's okay. I didn't pay attention to the whole chart, but if Deku and Todoroki face each other in the next round, that still leaves 2 other rounds between them and coming out on top. So Deku would have 2 other opponents, assuming he wins the whole thing. Like, I can kind of guess who would be the top 8 in this scenario, but I don't know who would be the top 4. No, I'm very curious. I wonder what the splits are, if Bakugo would rise and get to the final round, and that's where he faces Deku, or if they face each other in the semifinals. This is what tournament arcs do, it's just like, get you excited for certain matchups, and you try to see the line of what's going to happen next. As always, the one constant of a tournament arc is it's going to be interrupted somehow. What I kind of see happening is us getting to the final 4 or the final 2, and then something happens to interrupt the whole thing. And I wonder what it'll be. But anyways, that's for another time. I will hopefully see you next week with episode 7. Hopefully there will be an episode 7. But if not, I will catch you later. Grief me on Twitter. It keeps me motivated to continue. Bye.